Does anybody know how much ex-prime ministers get in terms of pension or ex-MPs? Um, is such information in the public domain? How much does Mahathir get in terms of pensioners for being an ex-prime minister for 21 or 22 years? How much does Abdullah Badawi get in terms of, or has he passed away? I'm not sure. Or Ismail Sabri or Muhyiddin gets in terms of pension for being ex-prime minister? Is such information in the public domain? I suspect it's in the order of tens of thousands because on November 10th, I met an ex-Adun, an ex-two-term Adun, and he gets 7,000 ringgit a month in terms of pension. He's no more an Adun, but he served as an Adun for 2 terms. And he was actually very evasive to let me know how much he gets in pension. He first tried to say it varies from state to state, whether you're an MP or Adun. I said, I asked you a direct question, how much do you get as pension from his state? And then when he had no choice, he blurted out, 7,000. And then the worst part is if he kicks the bucket, his wife will get half of that for the rest of her life every month. So if he kicks the bucket, the wife will get 3,500 every month for the rest of her life. So this is, I think, big waste of public funds lah. Supporting these politicians for the rest of their life is a big drain on our national coffers. Now, if you want to give a pension, something like 700 ringgit as a token is fine. But 7,000, like gaji buta, no, is ridiculous. Okay. I am an advocate of universal basic income, but not at 7,000 per head. If you want to give universal basic income, it should be equivalent to minimum wage so that people don't have to work for income to meet their basic human needs. They work for passion rather than survival, for subsistence. So if they work for passion, then it won't be a chore, and also they'll be more creative and more devoted to their work. Okay, to find out what is your passion, just think what would you do for the rest of your life, even if you weren't paid for it. If that is what you would do for the rest of your life, even if you weren't paid for it, that would be your passion. If you're passionate about something, you'll do it properly, you'll do it rigorously, you do it with care, with love, with passion, so that is what we want people to do. I mentioned I'm an advocate of universal basic income. The countries that have experimented doing it have got very positive results, but to implement it nationwide would be a big disruption to the financial and fiscal system of a country. So if we want to do it, we have to think it through, plan it very well, and phase it in. It's a bit too much of a disruption if we do it overnight. Now, for the past, at least half a decade, for as long as I can remember, the tax relief has been fixed at 30,000 ringgit. I think we should move with the times. If you earn less than 30,000 ringgit a year, you don't have to pay income tax. I think we should raise it. Okay, we should raise it to, if minimum wage is 1,700 or so, we should move it up, 10 times more, something like 200,000 ringgit a year. So if you earn less than 200,000 a year, you don't have to pay income tax. However, there is a flip side to it, because the government still needs to make money. So we should institute a consumption tax. A consumption tax would be something like GST, and we could have it on a sliding scale, tiered system. You have more consumption tax on Veblen goods, ostentatious goods, and no consumption tax on food items which are basic human needs. Of course, lobster and other things, you have consumption tax. Okay, so you can legislate consumer behavior by having a structured consumption tax. So, for example, if you want a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini, you can have it, but you have to pay more in terms of tax as well as road tax. But if you're happy to drive Pro 2 Axia, or anything less than 1000 cc's or electric vehicles, then you can have a token income tax. So, for example, my almost 20-year-old Pro 2 Viva, the road tax is 20 ringgit a year. So I don't even bother to claim the what do you call it, OKU exemption from road tax, because getting the paperwork done cost me more than 20 ringgit a year. So I just pay the 20 ringgit for my road tax, and that's fine. Not that I can drive anymore, but I still have to keep the car tax because I still own the car. And the reason why I haven't sold it off is because it's like a psychological thing lah. Once I sell the car, it's like acceptance that I will not be able to reverse my eye conditions, and basically it's like surrender lah. Won't be able to like give up hope lah, to be able to drive someday. So I still maintain the car, and in the hope that it motivates me lah to do whatever that needs to be done to reverse my eye condition so that I can drive again. Now, some people may say I'm in denial and the condition is irreversible. Well, that's debatable. You need to understand the underlying pathophysiology and address that issue. Once you address the underlying pathophysiology, then the condition disappears. This holds true for all non-communicable diseases, meaning diseases that are not caused by pathogens. Most diseases that are pathogenic are caused by viruses or bacteria, but non-communicable diseases are not caused by pathogens. They are basically lifestyle diseases. So the wrong lifestyle leads to these conditions, and if you change your lifestyle, you can reverse these conditions. It's as simple as that. But knowing exactly what to change and how to change, there is an art and science to it. So this one, I'm devoting a lot of my time to learning how it's done and implementing it on myself so that I could be an example to others how to do it. Now, the problem with Western allopathic medicine is that it doesn't doesn't address the root cause or the underlying pathophysiology of non-communicable diseases. They're more interested in managing the situation. Now, I'll tell you why. The historical reasons for this, it goes back to 1910, when the Carnegie Foundation, aka Rich Men's Club of the USA, of the US oligarchs, commissioned someone called Alexander Flexner to come up with a report, which was published in 1910, and it's called the Flexner Report. So what they did was to stack things in favor of the rich people, the oligarchs, the people who own big pharma. Now, anyone who's done business studies at the master's level, um, if you've done an MBA, for example, Masters in Business Administration, you would have done, if you go to a business school which was of any standard, case studies on big pharma. And how big pharma makes money is to maximize profits. So if they come up with a solution that you take one pill and solve your problem once and for all, they only make money once. And they do that with vaccinations. And although vaccinations, if you do privately, it costs a lot of money. What they persuade governments to do is to vaccinate everybody, and they charge the government for it, and they make billions and billions of money. Now, with other medications, what they do is they make you a customer for life. That's how you maximize profits. That's what you learn in business school. So how they maximize profits is to make you a lifelong customer. So like, take the example of metformin. Metformin, you have to take it for life. That means they sell the medicine for life. And they know it doesn't address the underlying etiology, the underlying root cause, the underlying pathophysiology. It's an end-of-pipe solution. They create agnotology, they create ignorance, they mislead you into thinking that diabetes is high blood sugar, and high blood sugar is not diabetes. High blood sugar is just a symptom of diabetes. So by addressing the system, you're not addressing the root cause, but that's how you can make money, by selling you the metformin, which helps you manage the condition. It doesn't prevent the condition, it doesn't reverse the condition of diabetes. Now, I won't go into the details of the pathophysiology of diabetes, of insulin resistance, but I'll just basically tell you that every cell in your body needs glucose as fuel. So when misguided or misinformed people say the problem with having high blood sugar is that your cells are bathed in glucose, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? So every cell in your body requires glucose as fuel. So why is the glucose level high in the blood? Is because the glucose can't get into the cells. It can't go where it's supposed to go. When it can't go where it's supposed to go, then the cells in the body are starved of fuel, and they will atrophy and die. When they atrophy and die, it depends on what cell or which organ or which muscle in the body, then you get problems there. So if the cells of your nerves do not get glucose, they'll be starved of fuel, they'll atrophy and die. If the cells of the pancreas don't get glucose, they will atrophy and die. If it's your alpha cells, then you can't produce glucagon. If it's the beta cells of your pancreas, then you can't make insulin. And then you'll get, you become insulin dependent, dependent on exogenous insulin. Basically, you have to inject it into your fat before or just after having a meal. Now, the main issue with diabetes is actually your insulin cannot bind with the insulin receptor site on the surface of every cell in your body. And the reason why it can't bind is because the receptor site is jammed up with ectopic fat. Ectopic fat is misplaced fat. In muscle, it's called IMCLs, intramyocellular lipids. So to prevent or reverse diabetes, you just get rid of the ectopic fat. Now, how do you get rid of it? This one, long story, you have to attend one of my seminars. If I tell you now, this voice note is going to go on for hours. So, yeah. See you next time.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.